Okay, so have you ever felt like, like there just aren't enough hours in the day for like all the things you got to do?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Tell me about it.
I think a lot of people feel that way, and that is exactly what we're going to be diving into today.
Oh, cool.
We are going to be looking at a blog post and video transcript called How I Balance Being a Mom, a Flagger, and an Affiliate Marketer.
Wow. Okay, so like all the things, right?
Yeah.
Family career and like a side hustle.
Yeah, and this was written by a woman named Wanda, so we'll be talking all about her story.
Wanda, yeah, that sounds pretty amazing. I mean, flagging is a tough job. Long hours, unpredictable, out in the elements.
Yeah.
And then add being a mom on top of that, plus building a business. Like, wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of our listeners can probably relate in some way to this feeling of like,
oh, for sure,
juggling all the things, right?
Absolutely.
So many people struggle with work-life balance, and then trying to add in something else that you're passionate about
Definitely
can be really tough. But what's really cool about Wanda's story is she seems to have figured out, at least, for her, what works. And she breaks it down into three main strategies:
Okay, let's hear it.
planning, consistency, and mindset.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, those sound pretty like, standard, like when you read like a self-help book or something, those are kind of the usual suspects. But I'm guessing what makes her story interesting is like how she actually applies these things.
Yeah. And to her very specific situation, which is so demanding and kind of unique. So, yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to kind of hear how she puts these into practice.
For sure.
So first off, she talks about planning and how she uses like little pockets of time throughout the day to get work done for her affiliate marketing business. So we're talking like lunch breaks, early mornings, even those few minutes while dinner is in the oven.
Oh, yeah, those little in-between times we all have.
And I think that's where her approach to planning gets really interesting, because it's not just about scheduling time. It's about really maximizing those little chunks of time that a lot of us just let slip away.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's so easy to just like scroll on your phone or, just zone out during those times. But she's really intentional about using them productively.
Exactly. And she talks about using a simple to-do list to stay focused during those like short bursts of work time.
Ah, okay. So like breaking it down into manageable chunks.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, instead of feeling like you need this huge block of time to get anything done.
Which is something I've actually been trying to do myself lately. I used to think that I needed like hours and hours to really get into a project, but I've been trying to break things down into smaller tasks, and it's actually been really helpful.
Yeah, there's a lot of research actually on like the effectiveness of microtasking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it turns out that like tackling these smaller tasks can actually be more effective than like trying to do this big giant thing all at once.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and like each time you check something off your list, even if it's a small thing, it triggers that little dopamine hit, which keeps you motivated and on track.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's a good strategy for sure.
And I think that ties in really well with their second principle, which is consistency.
Right.
She makes a point to dedicate at least 30 to 60 minutes every single day to her business, no matter what.
Wow.
Which can be really tough, when you have a busy life, but she's really committed to it.
Yeah, and that's actually really smart, especially with affiliate marketing, because it's a field where that like cumulative effort really pays off.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about it. Like every blog post you write, every social media connection you make, all of those things add up over time.
Oh, yeah. It's like, the saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Exactly.
The second best time is today.
Yes, exactly. So even those small, consistent actions, it might not seem like much in the moment, but they can lead to like significant growth down the road.
Right. So you don't have to do everything all at once. You just have to keep showing up.
Exactly. And especially with affiliate marketing, which often relies on building trust and visibility over time, those daily actions really contribute to that long-term growth.
Okay, so we got planning and consistency. Now, the third piece of this is mindset.
Right.
And I think this is where things get really interesting with Wanda's story, because she's very vocal about her why, like her reason for doing all of this.
Oh, okay. So like her motivation.
Yeah, exactly. So for her, it's about wanting financial freedom, setting a good example for her kids, and like proving that, moms can have it all.
Yeah, I think having a strong why is super important, because it's that thing that fuels you. It keeps you going even when things get tough.
Totally. And especially when you're juggling as much as she is.
Absolutely. Because let's face it, building a business on top of a demanding job and family life, like that's not easy.
Right.
So you need that deep-seated reason to push you forward.
Exactly. And another thing that she talks about, which I think is really important, is the power of community.
Oh, yeah.
She connects with other entrepreneurs online, and she finds that to be really helpful.
Yeah, it's like having a built-in support system.
Right.
People who understand the challenges you're facing and can offer encouragement and advice.
Exactly. And accountability, too.
For sure.
You know, having people to check in with and kind of keep you on track.
And just knowing that you're not alone in this journey.
Yeah.
You know, other people are going through the same things.
Yeah, that can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Now, it's not all sunshine and roses, right?
Right.
She's also very honest about the fact that it's not always easy. There are setbacks. There are days when she just wants to give up.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's realistic.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship isn't always glamorous.
Right.
There are going to be tough times.
Exactly. But what I really admire about her is that she emphasizes the importance of flexibility and keeping a positive attitude, even when things don't go according to plan.
That's so key, you know, because things are going to come up. Unexpected challenges are going to happen. And it's about how you respond to those challenges that really determines your success.
Yeah.
And I love that she embraces imperfection. You know, it's like a reminder that we're all human.
Yeah.
It's okay to stumble as long as we keep getting back up.
Exactly. And sometimes those failures, those setbacks, those are the things that teach us the most valuable lessons.
Totally agreed.
So we've heard a lot about Wanda's story and her 3 pillars of balance planning, consistency, and mindset. Yeah. But these are just tools.
Yeah.
It's up to each of us to figure out how to apply them to our own lives and our own unique situations.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to balance.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you and being willing to experiment and adjust along the way.
Totally. And I think a good takeaway for our listeners is to think about what's one small action that you can commit to doing consistently.
Yeah, even if it's something tiny like Wanda showed us, the small steps can really add up over time.
Exactly. And maybe that small step will help you feel a little bit closer to achieving those goals that feel just out of reach.
And remember, it's all about taking action. Even if it's imperfect action, it's better than no action at all.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Exactly. And who knows where that first step might lead you.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
My pleasure.